Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. So I've had these wheels for about a year now. I did a review after 4 months and I said they were great. I've now had them a year and my opinion has really changed. So stick around to find out why. So honestly, I can say these wheels are not good and fundamentally I would not recommend them to anyone. So for full openness and transparency, these wheels were sent to me for free, but as you will see in this video, and as always, I don't let that affect my opinion on a product. If it's rubbish, I will tell you so. Also, I'm not going to be mentioning things such as ride feel and stiffness and things like that, and that's simply because these wheels have just been too unreliable for me to be able to recommend at all, regardless of whether they are good in those aspects. So back when I first reviewed these wheels after 4 months of ownership, I had no problem, but soon after I uploaded that's when the problem started to begin. I was out on a normal ride and I remember this very clearly actually. I was riding up a pretty steep hill, must have been about 10%, when the rear hub just stopped engaging. So I was pedaling forward as you normally do, but my legs were just spinning. And that was just not good at all. I was left stranded quite a long way from my house, I will admit. So I was relatively new to cycling and I had no idea what was going wrong. I just knew that something was wrong and I had to go home by taxi basically. Anyway, once I got home, I took a closer look. I took the wheel apart a bit and it just sort of fell apart in my hands. The hub just came apart and these are the pictures I took off the inside. I'm sure people much more well versed than me know what's going on here. Basically, the pawls and the metal bits here are completely broken. Not good at all. So I'm no engineer or expert, but this is definitely not right. I reached out to 9Velo and they got it fixed pretty quickly. So it took about 2 weeks before they got sent back, which isn't too long, but that's because I live in China where these wheels are made. If you were living in the UK or America, that would probably take a lot longer. Anyway, at this point, I just assumed I'd gotten lucky. You know, things will break all the time and it's fine really. So I decided not to make a video about it at that point. I calculated from Strava that by that point, I'd done about 1,500 kilometers on the wheels, which isn't a lot really, so it's a bit disappointing. So at this point, I wasn't really that bothered about making a video about this hub failure. I just thought it was a one-off and I was unlucky. Plus, I was quite new to this YouTube thing. This was the first time I'd actually got something this expensive for free, so I didn't want to go around burning any bridges or anything like that. So I thought I'd give 9Velo the benefit of the doubt and just not mention it really. Anyway, 2 weeks later, I got this wheelset back. So instead of sending a brand new wheelset, they just repaired the hub, which is fair enough, it's up to them. I knew they'd repaired it and not just sent a new one because it still had my shoddy rim tape job, which I did. This was around July time, which was just before the summer holiday for me. So I went on some summer shenanigans, which involved riding a new mountain bike and lots of beer. So this wheelset didn't really get that much use during the summer. After the summer holiday, it was around September time, I was back on the road bike and hence back on this wheelset as well. I did a few rides, and I really mean a few here, before the exact same problem happened again. By this point, I'd only done 200 kilometers on this wheelset since they'd fixed it, and I was riding up a hill again, probably maybe even less this time, like 6-7%, and the rear wheel hub just stopped engaging. And this time I knew it was probably the exact same thing as before, and this is what I had to say at the time. Right, so I've just had to walk 5 kilometers home because my wheels broke, and it is an absolute joke. This is the second time it's happened, and I'm going to show you what's wrong with them. So these are my wheels here, they're LV45s by 9Velo. Alright, so obviously when you turn the cranks backwards, right, it spins, like that's perfectly normal, right? But then when I spin it forward, the same thing happens. The wheel does not engage, the wheel does not move at all. So what I suspect here is that something inside the hub has broken because I felt it like something click when I was riding. This is actually the second time this has happened to me. The first time was about 6 months ago, and to be honest, I've spent the summer back home in England where I've not even been riding these wheels, so to have these break again is a proper joke, and it's ridiculous to be honest. Considering these are what, £900 wheels, you expect some level of quality. Here's the thing, I did actually get these for free, so I should be singing their praises really, but the reality is they are just, I don't know, it's just broken twice, so it's not good. Alright, I'm going to take it inside and then give you a better view of what's gone wrong. So again, I went home and checked the inside of the hub, and it's the exact same problem. You can see the pores and the metal bits have just shattered. So this really isn't a good look for 9Velo, which is a shame. Now, like I said before, I'm no engineer or expert, just a regular guy out trying to get fit and ride his bike. But the rear hub breaking like that in the exact same way twice is just a bit weird. So I had a bit of a deeper look. So looking on 9Velo's website, they have a weight rating of 120 kilograms. Now, I'm a pretty big guy, between 95 and 100 kilograms most of the time, so I don't think their weight limit is correct. I am nowhere near 120 kilograms, but still managed to break this hub twice. Twice in the same circumstances, I may add. Each time I was climbing at somewhat of low RPM, and that's probably when the rear hub is having the most force pushed through it. Like I said, I'm no expert, so don't take this as gospel, but that's just my theory. Anyway, if something happens once, it can just be bad luck, but for it to happen twice is just not very good. So during this time, I have to mention that I was also using my stock wheel set on the exact same roads, the exact same weather, literally the same situation, and that wheel set, which is worth like £100, has had no issue whatsoever. So for a £100 wheel set to be sturdier and stronger than a £1,000 one is just not very good at all. So here's the main thing. For me, this was a minor annoyance because I had a second set of wheels and I got them for free. I wasn't really that invested monetarily, but if I were a paying customer, I would be absolutely fuming. There's no reason for a wheel set to break like this twice. So if they want to sell these wheels, I think they need to have a much more accurate weight limit. I don't believe for a moment they had a 120 kilogram guy ride these wheels for any length of time really, because they would have realized it just keeps breaking in the same way. So if they want to sell these wheels, I think they need to be more honest with their weight limits, because if I, a 100 kilogram guy, can break wheels with a 120 kilogram weight limit, then there's clearly something wrong. Either their weight limit is too high, or they just didn't test it properly. If it were to have just broken once, then you can just put it down to bad luck, but because it happened twice, that's when I think there's something else going on here. So do you think this is where it ends? Unfortunately not. After the second time the hub broke, I reached out to 9Velo. They told me they would get it fixed. I said, okay, great. I sent the rear wheel off to them, and they said they'd get it shipped back to me. So it is currently the end of November. I sent the rear wheel off to get fixed at the beginning of October. So it's been almost 2 months since I sent these wheels in to get repaired, and I have heard nothing from them. I did try to reach out to them, but I got no response. Really great customer service there.
Wow!
To summarize, I can't really recommend this wheel set to anyone, which is a shame because when it did work, it was fine and I had no problems with it. I believe the hubs are quite weak and not up to the standards of anyone who wants to ride up hills in anger, basically. I also don't think their weight limit is accurate, because if it was, I wouldn't have broken them. I also think how they treated me was quite rude. I know I'm not entitled to these wheels because I got them for free, but if you don't want to return them, just send a message saying so rather than just ignoring me. It takes 1 minute to send a message, and ignoring people is really not a good look. It makes me wonder how they would treat their actual paying customers when they have a warranty claim. So if anyone owns these wheels or any other 9Velo wheels, then let me know in the comments. Maybe it would be very interesting to know how you're getting on with them and whether I've just been very unlucky twice. Also, I would like to apologize for not getting this video out sooner. I was waiting to see if 9Velo would get back to me, and they never did, so yeah, that's my bad. I feel like I owed them an opportunity to make things right because they did send me these wheels for free, but they never got back to me at all, so that's their choice really. Anyway, this whole wheel set fiasco has been such a hassle. I'm definitely not going to be accepting anything this expensive for free to review again. There's definitely a fine line to tread on YouTube. On the one hand, I do want to make cool new videos with cool new products, but I don't want it to feel like I'm just advertising products to you because they were given to me for free. For you guys, the viewers, it's definitely important to know that if a YouTuber is offering you a discount code, then they are most certainly getting a cut off the profits as well. And on something as expensive as a wheel set, it's probably a big chunk of change as well. I know this because I was offered the same deal, but I just felt too guilty to take them up on it. I know there's a huge range of cycling content out there for you to watch, so I want to say thank you for choosing to watch me. Just keep in mind that when something is being shilled as amazing or the next best thing, there might also be some financial motivation behind it, so keep your wits about you. Alright, that's it from me. I will see you in the next one. Peace out.